All right, happy Thursday. I usually do this on Friday. We're going to be talking about some really good things. We're going to talk about the Q2 report. We do this hard copy tangible report, which is available at Open House. We're going to be getting into that. We're going to talk about changes. What are the different counties doing? If you've got a home in Marion County, Lake County, Sumter County, what's the market look like? What's happening in all these three counties? We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to be looking at a couple of other things, which is we're starting to shift towards a little bit more of a buyer's market, or a seller's market rather. We've been in an extreme buyer's market for the last 18 months. We're down to about 640 properties on the market, and where we've seen well over 750 maybe about 2-3 months ago. So we've seen about a 12 to 13% decline in inventory, which is, I think, that's good news, right? So I think that's good news. For a more balanced marketplace is good. So I think that's a good thing. Some people may not agree. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about that. So we are seeing a little bit of a shift. Actually, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet, so you can get daily, or you get you get pinged every time we do a new video. So check that out for sure. I'm Glenn Stein, Realty Executives, the broker here with an office on 466 in the Villages, which happens to be in Sumter County. And we do have an Ocala office in Marion County, and we have a smaller satellite office in Coleman, which is further south in Sumter County towards really close to Finney in that area. If you're familiar with the area, that's where we are. Let's dive into it. So we're going to go over what we're seeing in the different counties. And this is our report. You can pick it up at Open House probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll have that delivered in the next couple of weeks. So, all right, Marion County numbers right now. This is what we're looking at, Marion County numbers. The Marion County numbers right now are very interesting, and it really depends on how you look at it, whether you're a buyer or seller. But the Marion County numbers, if you look at the last 5 years, have gone up from 269 in January to 407, right? Increase there. But we've seen a big decrease in average sales price over the last couple of months, but then we popped up again in June. And by the way, June is overall, as far as the Villages MLS, was the second highest sales month of any June, except for 2021. 2021 was the highest. 2025 June, second highest in the history of the Villages. Now we have a lot more homes on the market. We have more buyers. The Villages is bigger. There's a lot of things to attribute that to. So it gives you an idea of what's happening in Marion County average sales price. Remember that number, because we're going to look at Lake County and Sumter County in a minute. So let's look at the number of sales on a monthly basis. Not too big of a difference in Marion County. So when we say, hey, highest June, well, it certainly didn't come from Marion County, right? We're seeing a very low amount of sales happen, very similar to 2020, and definitely lower than last year, and similar to 2023, except for, if you look at June, it's 20, then similar to 2022, when the interest rates are going straight through the roof, and literally a third less than the June of 2021. So Marion County numbers not fabulous at all, unfortunately, which had better news. I think there are some real deals to be had. If you can make get a real deal as a buyer, it's probably in Marion County. Okay. Let's look at Lake County. Lake County average sales price. Now, this is going to be skewed a bit, so don't be confused about this. So looking at the numbers, 648, I think that's an anomaly, so just throw that out the window. 332, 343, 330 for June of 2025 in Lake County is different than 393. Why the difference? If you read here on the bottom, and I created this a couple weeks ago, it actually includes, read this part here, includes the Villages of Newell and Pine Ridge, more expensive, but it also includes the historic section of the Villages, right? So a historic section is the older section, mobile homes. You can find things that are about 100,000 to 200,000, and that's why the average price actually comes down. So Lake County can be a little bit confusing as far as average sales price, right? 330, but still an increase overall from like 200,000 all the way to 330. Definitely an increase. And if you look at Marion County numbers, mid 200s in 2020 now to almost 400,000. So there's some differences for sure, but there's some outliers. Hopefully that makes sense, right? June numbers, Marion County, Lake County, average sales price, number of units. Let's look at that. Lake County, number of units, 19. Still significantly better than the other years, better than every year except for 2021. Okay, so a little bit better there. Lake County, a little bit better. And if you look at the other months, if you look at March of this year, significantly better and actually matched. If you look at the first 3 months of this year, it matches almost identically, one home sale short to the 2021 numbers, right? So seeing a little bit of a recovery in demand in Lake County. So numbers are a little bit better. And I think that's largely due to the newness of Newell and Pine Ridge, very desirable areas in Lake County, and the price affordability of the historic section. Okay. Now, Sumter County, that's the bigger county, and that's where we're going to see the numbers look a little bit different, or a lot different. Prices back in 2020 were not in the twos or mid twos, they were over 3, and then they moved to over 400, right? Highest average sales price, not a big surprise. This includes just north of 466, all the way through 466A, all the way through 44, and then obviously into the newer sections south of the Turnpike and going east along the Turnpike. Okay, 426, Sumter County. Look at the sales. Obviously, the numbers are vastly different, and this is where what I just told you about the numbers. June being the highest, Villages MLS, the highest sales month of any June since 2021. I mean, ever, actually, not just since, but before 2021, it was also the highest. The exception is 2021 June. This June was the second highest of all time. Now, where does it come from? It didn't come from Lake County. It didn't come from Marion County, but it did come from Sumter County. Look at the numbers, 155 sales in the month of June, the highest that we've seen. If you go back in time, where's 155? We're not seeing it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? We're not seeing it. And you don't see 155 until you get to July of 2021. That's the highest selling month that we've seen in 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 4 years, right? Can't do math. 4 years, right? 4 years, almost 4 years. It's actually 3 years and 11 months. So that tells you a lot. That gives me optimism that we're starting to see a little bit of a recovery. The only market in Florida, by the way, where I'm seeing reduction in inventory and we're seeing a bump up in sales. And I know the naysayers are going to be like, well, the market's it's going through a pit hole. It's going to go through the floor. I know some of you guys are going to say that. It's not true. Not true. We're seeing a turnaround. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to be in a seller's market next month. I'm not saying that. But we're moving away from the extreme, right? 2021, extreme seller's market. Extreme. Like if this is seller's market over here, all the way out here, that's where we're. Then all of a sudden, 22, 23, 24, buyer's market way over here. And now we're getting back into view, still a buyer's marketplace, but it's slightly less than what we saw maybe 6 weeks ago. Does that shift back to being a severe buyer's marketplace or extreme buyer's market? Or does it start moving more in this direction? You're going to find out here, by the way, because this is what I do every single week. Okay, I look at these numbers. So that's what we're looking at in essence. That's basically what we're looking at here. Lake Sumter and Marion counties. Sumter County is where it's probably the biggest market for the Villages, and that's why we're seeing such an extreme shift in the Villages numbers. If you have questions, let me know. Steve, thank you for the comment. Numbers are blurred when they're enlarged. I can, if you guys want, you can text me at this number here that you're seeing on the screen. And I can send you this. I could actually email it to you. So you want me to email it to you? I'm not going to spam you with emails. That's not what this is about. I just want to give you information. That's why I have this channel. I want to help my company, Realty Executives in the Villages, the #1 real estate company in the Villages by far on MLS. It's not close. We've got the best agents. I think we have the best culture. I just love our people, but I think, you know, we try to do the best we can for all of our clients, the best we can. It's not perfect, but we try to do the best. So please like, subscribe, and if you need this report, just text me at this number, 352-572-3796, and I'll be happy to send it to you. Okay. All right. Happy Thursday. Happy mid-July. Happy mid-July.